How are you today? I hope everybody is doing well and safe and ready to get working in their classes. I am Sandy Dolan Oliver, and I am going to be your instructor for this section of English 112, Writing and Research in the Disciplines. And we have a lot of work to do, of course. It's college class. I'm going to give you quite a few of these videos to go along with what we're doing in the class. Some of them I have pre-recorded for other classes, so don't worry about that part. But I want you to have as much possibilities as you can, given we're online all the time and we don't get to meet one-on-one or all on one. And I think it's important for you to get used to watching the videos and reading the book and all of that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So, like I said, I'm Sandy Oliver, and this is English 112. Our course is all online all the time. And if you haven't already printed off your syllabus, please go do that. Pause me, go do that. The syllabus is important because it gives you all of the nuts and bolts for the class, and I'm sure this isn't your first rodeo, so you know how important it is to know and have at your fingertips all the rules and information that you need for the course. So there's that. I am an adjunct, which means I'm a part-time teacher at JCC, and that means also that I don't have an office of my own. My husband does work there full-time, and I'm up on campus. I'm trying to go up at least a couple times a month just so that you have access if you need it, but also to kind of, keep in the academic stuff. My office hours, I don't have office hours because, again, I don't have an office, but you can email me anytime Monday through Friday. I am usually pretty quick to respond to emails during the week. On the weekends, I'm a little bit less speedy. I do usually check in on Saturdays. I tend not to check in on Sundays. So if you post an email on Sunday, I'll probably get back to you Monday. We are in English 112, we are a writing intensive course, which makes sense considering this is what the course is titled, right? Writing and research. And so we have some things that we have to do. We have some things to implement. We have to require at least 15 pages of writing throughout the semester. That's not hard, actually, with the drafts and things counting in that. So we do have to do some peer reviews, and I really hope that you will take those seriously and help each other out. Post your stuff on time, review like you're supposed to, and I have a lot of directions on that later, but just keep that in mind that you are going to have to do some things on discussion board for collaboration. So a new thing this semester, although it's been around for a couple years now, we have an official AI, which is artificial intelligence statement. We have had trouble with students trying to use that as their own work, and it's not, so don't go there. On page 2 of your syllabus, there's a little paragraph or 3 there that basically says you're not permitted to use AI generated stuff as your own work for this course, or really for any course. Things like ChatGPT and other large language models seem fun and easy, but this course is not supposed to have, let me back up a little bit. You're supposed to do your own original work for each class that you take. That's kind of the point, right? Is learning how to do these things and then practicing and doing them well. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is an ethical consideration that you don't have permission from your textbook, from your peers, from wherever you find things online, to use that information as your own in another format. And that's really what the AI stuff does. So we are a 100% online course. All of our work gets submitted through Blackboard. I do allow you to turn things in via email if Blackboard gives you fits or you're worried about something not posting correctly or whatever. The boring stuff here, it is not, shouldn't be really boring, but your learning outcomes, things that you'll be able to do at the end of the course, are at the bottom of page 2. And part of the big deal is critically evaluating a variety of sources. We have so much information out there anymore, and it's really difficult sometimes to know what's reliable and what's not. And so that's part of what we work through in this class. The other thing is we're going to learn and use APA style, which is American Psychological Association style. And it is slightly different from the MLA that you worked with in English 111. APA is used in more of the technical avenues of, higher education and out in the working world. And so we want you to have a chance to kind of work with that. So that's what we're going to do in this class. On page 3, we are participating in the first day access to textbooks. All of our books are ebooks. You have a link to them, to each of them, on our Blackboard page under course information, and then just scroll down until you find the one you need. We're using 2 different ebooks. One is the Norton Field Guide to Writing, 6th edition, and the other one is the Little Seagull Handbook, which I think is a 4th edition. But anyway, they're all connected in there. We're also using Norton is the publisher. We're using Norton's version of Inquisitive is what they call it. It's basically nuts and bolts kind of stuff for writing and editing and all of that fun stuff. We're going to focus mostly on the writing process and the types of writing that you're going to do, and a lot of stuff with sources. How do you get there? How do you tell? How do you fact check? What does that mean? Those kinds of things. And the Inquisitive is what they call a self-leveling activity. And so you have to answer at least 10 questions. If you miss a question in there, it's going to kind of back up and try again with a different phrasing or a different question in that same category. And you answer, hopefully, you answer everything that you can until that little number says 100, because you don't want to get partial credit for this stuff, right? 100 means you get all 20 points for that particular assignment. The Inquisitive assignments are worth 10% of your overall grade. That's all of them kind of smashed together. At one point I said 15, but we really do have 16 of those. So if I find from the early on that y'all need a little bit more help with certain aspects of grammar or punctuation, I'll add a couple of those in just so everybody gets a chance to play with that. A couple of other things you're going to need for this class. One is some sort of physical file storage device or reliable access to cloud storage. Now, you can use the JCC cloud, you can use Microsoft Cloud, whatever. My advice to you, though, is to save your work on a USB or on your device so that you have a backup copy. There's a lot of reasons for that. But anyway, check your email address, your JCC email address. I will only send to your official JCC email address if you email me from a different kind of account, whether that's Gmail or whatever else is out there. I'll add that back in. So be careful with that. You need to make sure that you can access your JCC Blackboard account and some sort of Word software. Now, as a student, you get Office 365 for free. Well, it's included in all of your studenty stuff. So avail yourself of that. It works really well with Blackboard. Other formats of papers don't work as well. And so sometimes they mess up the spacing and all of that. And it's just interesting. So you get it for free. You might as well use it. You also need reliable access to the internet. Obviously, you're in an online class. If your internet goes wonky or you have to go away for a while and you can't find whatever, there are different places on campus that you can park in your car 24 hours a day and, do your homework. The Learning Resources Center, the library, also has laptops and tablets and things you can check out to do your work on. Check their open hours, though. They change and shift throughout the semester depending upon, need and all of that. Okay, so we are going to cover things like writing arguments, reading and discovering arguments, researching arguments. You see a lot about arguments in here. Okay, and we are working through a series of high stakes assignments and then some low stakes assignments. Okay, and high stake just means it's a good chunk of your grade. One thing is a good chunk of your grade. And these are all for the final drafts. The drafting process goes into that general assignments and discussion boards 20% thing. So the first paper we're going to write is a rhetorical analysis, and it's 10% of your grade. The annotated bibliography, which is basically a list of your sources for your researched argument with some paragraphs to go with them, is 20%. The researched argument itself is 30%. At the end of the class, we're going to do this opinion editorial and op-ed. It's kind of a fun flip on your topic for the research argument. Inquisitive is 10%, and then everything else all lumped together is 20%. It does add up to 100, I checked. So technically we're not using points to figure grades because things are weighted. That means some things, like your final draft, is worth more to your grade than, say, a rough draft or a discussion board or whatever. And so I've put up a column on Blackboard called Current BB Blackboard Grade. It's going to keep track of your grade throughout the course. It's more of an estimate than a direct, this is exactly what your grade is. Excuse me. It is correct if you're caught up. If you're not caught up, it's a little more optimistic than you should be. If you're really behind, it's a lot more optimistic than you should be. Remember, it's going to give you your grade out of what you've actually finished. Okay, it's not going to count the late work. Sorry, it's not going to count the missing work as zeros yet. I have found that if I put that option up there, it looks horrible for you the whole semester until we get to the end, because it's saying, well, you have all this other stuff to do and you haven't done it yet. That's not fair. Very kind of, depressing. So it will be optimistic. But keep in mind that if you haven't turned in, a major assignment, you can't possibly still have an A. Okay. You can always email me and ask me for a grade update or a list of things that you're missing, and I'll be happy to provide that for you. Now, you can find your own missing work. If you go down on the left-hand side of our Blackboard page to My Grades and click on that, it'll show you things that you have been graded for and things that are missing, late, whatever. I think they say late. And then it'll say pending. And these are the things that we're going to do in the future. Okay, so you don't have to worry about them yet. But you can get that list. Like I said, I'm more than happy to provide that for you. Just give me an email and I will get on it. Okay. Normal. I do my best to post grades for everything you turn in on time, usually within the next day or two. I have a week, right, to get it all done for you. And I realize there are some times when I'm going to be grading and reviewing, commenting on things very quickly in the week. And so I'm up for that. If you turn something in late, though, it might not be graded quite so quickly. Usually I'll lump them all together and get it over with, but sometimes I just can't get to all the late work, and that's up to you. If the grade in My Grades has a little line under it, it's a hyperlink, and you can click on that, and that means I've made some sort of comment. Sometimes it's just a smiley face. Sometimes it's a, yay or whatever. Sometimes it's like for the rough drafts and things, it's substantive comments. A lot of times I also will draw on very badly, sorry, on your draft to show you where you need to put some things or um, anyway, little editing things. Okay. Remember that this is an online course, and just like in a seated course, we have certain things we do every week. And I expect that you're going to spend at least 3 hours on what I consider my stuff. That's the reading and the lectures and things like that. And then you're also going to do the homework. Okay, this is not mean. I have a lot of students who haven't taken a lot of online courses and they get kind of overwhelmed with the list. Well, if you had to come to class, you would have to read and do some things before you came to class, right? You turn it in, and then I grade it and give it back. And then you have to come to class again with stuff, and I grade it and turn it back. It's the same process. It's just we're all online all the time, and you can do this, at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why you'd want to, I don't know, but that's okay. Sometimes you got it. Make sure you remember that if you're behind, it's going to be harder to get everything together. Do what you can, do all you can as you can. I do take late work. I know that everybody has other things going on, and sometimes they win. Sometimes school has to take a back seat. School can't always take a back seat, though. You're here, you've agreed to be here, you're in the class, you need to do the work, and that's just how it goes. I take late work. If your assignment is late, it'll lose 10%. That goes for final drafts. That goes for everything, all the other stuff that goes into class. And I tend to be a little more lenient in the late work area than I should be most of the time, but there you go. It's also not eligible, late work is not eligible for extra credit. I don't give extra credit assignments, but I do give extra credit for extra work. And so, if you know you're going to be late, God forbid you're in a car accident or you're sick or your kid is sick or whatever, something happens and blows up your life, send me an email and I'm more than happy to give you an extension. And then those assignments, that particular assignment or the ones on that particular day, get a bit of grace. Okay, I don't count them late. You have a week to turn them in without any kind of penalty, and then we move on. Now, if you get an extension, that doesn't mean you have an extension for the rest of the term. That's not how it works. It's particular to that assignment or that day's assignments. And make sure that you get those in as soon as possible. Keep up on stuff. Now, our attendance policy is you have to turn in at least one academic assignment every week in order to keep your attendance as present. Okay, so if we have 4 or 5 things due and you're, this is an extreme week for you, do one thing. Okay, do the discussion board, do the inquisitive, whatever. Do one thing, and that way you get counted present for the week. That doesn't mean that you're going to pass. Okay, if you only do one thing every week, there's no way you can pass the class. Okay, but if you do one thing every week, you keep your attendance. And so that's kind of a safeguard for you. I expect that you're going to be catching up, doing all your work, moving right along. But, sometimes life blows up on us and we don't have a choice but to just say, okay, next. Do your catch-up work, get back with it, and we move on. Now, I do have each section, like each paper, and all the things that went between the last paper and this paper, will have a cutoff date. Usually that's 2 weeks after the paper is due. And for me, for the instructor, this is an end date so that I'm not getting a whole semester's worth of work in the last week. It's not fair to other students. It's not fair to me. And really, you can't do the class in a week. So what I do is there's a cutoff date, and I'll mark that on Blackboard, and you'll see at the bottom of one of the week folders, it'll say first deadline. Okay, rhetorical analysis, weeks 1 through, I think it's weeks 1 through 6. Basically, it's your drop dead deadline. You can't turn it in after that. Okay, a couple other things. Our due dates are Thursday by 11:59 p.m. Now, I know a lot of my colleagues use Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. as their cutoff. I don't. I'm not gonna. And so part of that reason is so that nobody has to feel like they have to work on their holy day. Okay. Now, I know a lot of my students claim to be a-religious. Okay, I don't have a religion. Your work is still due on Thursday. 3 major religions in this country have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Sunday, sorry, as their holy day, and I want to respect that. My holy day is Sundays, and so I try really hard not to do work, schoolwork, housework, all kinds of good stuff. That's my holy day. That's family and church and all that kind of stuff. So take a day off every week. That's just good practice, good mental health, and all that kind of stuff too. So you'll see on our weekly pieces under weekly lessons on Blackboard, you'll see a getting started, which is the enrollment verification quiz, and then the rest of them are week 1, and it goes Monday through Thursday, Monday to Thursday, Monday to Thursday. Now, if you only do homework on the weekends, do stuff ahead rather than behind. I know this first week is a little bit weird for that, but I don't count things late the first week because everybody's just trying to get into and get acclimated and all of that. Again, our homework online attendance policy, you have to do at least 1 assignment every week to keep your present. We also have some things here at the end of the syllabus about religious or solemn observance policy. If you will be basically out of pocket for any amount of time due to religious things, solemn observance kind of things, then you need to make sure that you're letting me know ahead of time. There is a form for this, which I just found out about. Just send me an email and say, hey, I'm going to be at a retreat these days, and I will not be able to do work then. I planned to do my work. Let's do that in those times before I go, because that's the policy, but I'm not going to be available for attendance that week. Okay. You need to give me at least 2 weeks notice. Now, on the other side of that, and this is awful, but it happens just about every semester. If you have a family member, whether that's blood or chosen, who is on hospice or is in that position, send me an email, let me know, and then if things go that way, you can say, I'm going to activate that. Okay, so that's a way around getting a lot of absences because you're trying to help take care of somebody. Okay, now things to do for you. We have what's called the Jaguar writing portal. Say that 3 times real fast. It's a free writing tutorial service available to JCC students for any course, not just a writing course, through the library's website. And it's a part of the tutoring lab, but it's tutoring that you don't have to go in for if you don't want to. Okay, you can go in. We also have something called SAGE. This is our progress report and referrals for extra help. I can send a referral for anybody if I think you really need it, or if your grade drops below a certain level, you get a progress report. And then the college does kind of these sweeping, hey, everybody who fits this criteria needs to get a progress report. So we go and fill them out. It has changed every semester that I've been here when we actually do those, somewhere before the midterm, and then sometimes somewhere in the last half. So we'll have to see how it goes. If you have questions, there's a number for you in an email at the bottom of page 6. We also have what is called the QEP, the Quality Enhancement Plan. This is pace yourself here at JCC. It's for student success. And I'm reading here, cultivate student success at JCC through data-informed initiatives focused on first-year progression and gateway course completion. Basically, English 111 or remedial English, and Math 110, I think, is the one that they go with that. Anyway, those things that everybody gets kind of screened for at the beginning. If you're newly graduated from high school, they use your GPA and that kind of stuff. If you're not newly graduated from high school, I think there's a placement test. So there's that thing. But there's also a lot of first year experience kind of stuff that comes up. Things like your ACA class, and they're going to have numerous fairs throughout the first month or so of school where, like all the clubs that are out there, the esports and regular sports, and just different things you can get into. Also things like trio and career, what is it called? Anyway, the career planning folks, the accessibility folks, tutoring and such over in the library. So there's going to be opportunities for folks to go, and it's not just for students who are fresh out of high school or first year here at JCC, but that's their focus. Okay, so, and again, there's some things in there you can do for if you have questions. Last thing on the syllabus, it's called Student Concerns. If I offend you, or if you think I'm not being fair to you, your first job is to tell me about it. Okay, be respectful. And I'm more than happy to fix and apologize and do whatever we can do to make it right. I try really hard not to get up in your space. Sometimes the frustration gets the better of me. I'll be honest. But I'm also honest enough to say, I apologize. I don't want to hurt other people's feelings. I'm a big empath, and so hurting other people's feelings, even online, is really rough on me. So I try really hard not to do that. But if there's something that you have a concern about, please, please, please email me. Let me know. If we can't come to an agreement that, okay, we're better, we're good, then my director, department chair, is Elizabeth Baker, and we can go to her and say, here's what's going on, and I can't figure out how to fix it, or you can't figure out how to fix it. We're not happy. And she's very good about balance. Okay. If you're not happy with that, then we go to our associate vice president. She's our boss over all of the university studies. Her name is Lisa Cooper, and there's information to get a hold of both of those folks on page 7 at the bottom. Okay. So that's the syllabus. I am going to make some other videos, of course, for the different assignments and things. One thing I do want to mention here at the end is that when I do discussion boards, and we have them pretty much every week, I don't do the grading part in the discussion board because for me it's too clunky, and it doesn't let me separate the post from the replies. And so I have columns in our Blackboard grade book that'll say like intro DB post, and that's worth 20 points, and intro DB replies, and that's worth 10 points, 5 points each for 2 replies. When we do, so you won't see them show up in grading, in the My Grades part, until I put them in on the grade book, and I wait until folks, usually on Friday, folks have had a chance to go in and do their work. Now for the other kind of discussion board, the writing the drafts, we're going to do those through discussion board. And you're going to post your draft, and then you're actually going to post, you're going to reply with your peer review. Sorry, my brain went me for a second. The peer reviews, I have a list of questions for you to answer, and so you'll make a document and then you'll just attach it. And we'll talk more about that when we get there, but that's kind of the details. I know for y'all it's a little bit long here at 30 minutes or so. I hope that you have a great semester. I hope we do good things, and we'll figure things out as we go along. Let me know if you have questions. You have my email. So have a great week. Bye.